Welcome to the joy of coding.
Hello and welcome to episode Sorry. Nah, let me try that again.
Welcome to the joy of coding.
Hello and welcome to episode 60 of The Joy of Coding. My name is Mike Conley. We're going to be doing some interesting stuff today with Firefox. We're going to be hands deep in, I think, some performance profiles. I'll explain in a second. Basically, it's going to be a good time. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you are too. Let's get started. So here is my screen. And here is the agenda. Let me bump up the font. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, so today's June 8th. A reminder, no plan survives breakfast. I think I more or less know what I want to do today, but if things fall apart and things go totally wrong, that's okay. I'll adapt. There's always more work to do. So I have a couple of self-checks first. Am I recording? Yes. Is my microphone working? Yes. Is the network working? Yes. Last week we had some network difficulties, and like halfway through during the live stream, my network dropped, and it was a snafu. But hopefully, I haven't sweet talked Jay Lin into giving me wired access in this room yet, wired network. So I'm still on the Wi-Fi. Hopefully it stays stable. It's worked well for me over the past couple of months. It was only last week where it was funky. So hopefully today it stays working. So let's get down to business. What do I want to do today? First of all, let me just tell you about this agenda. It's possible that a few of you who are watching are new to the joy of coding and don't really know what's going on. What I've got here is kind of an agenda. It's kind of a map of what I want to do. It's got some useful things in it, like ways to contact me and a glossary of some terms I might use and interesting links, etc., and instructions on how to join the chat because I'm in a IRC channel if you want to talk to me. And you can actually access, like, these links are useless to you unless you can click on them, and you can access the links if you go to the additional links section. If you're on Air Mozilla, scroll down. There's an additional links section. If you click on that, there should be a link to this agenda, and it should update itself live more or less, or maybe you have to refresh. I don't know. But, like, as I change it, the changes should manifest because I'll be synchronizing it. Thank you, Evernote. So yeah, go check out that agenda if you want to click on any of these links. If you're watching this on YouTube, it should be in the video description. So what am I doing? I had this idea. Someone gave me this idea, I think, last week, maybe it was the week before, where periodically I'll poke my head into. There's this website called Reddit you may have heard of. There are little communities, little like sub pages, or what are really called subreddit communities within Reddit where people will talk about a particular subject, and there's one for Firefox. And in that group of people, people often are posting requests for help. My Firefox is broken. How do I fix it? Or I have an idea, or what's going on here, etc., etc. Interesting Firefox related news, and it's a generally a good crowd, although there's some bad apples, but it's generally a good crowd. And I had this idea of, um, or I, someone had given me this idea. I should give credit where it's due. Where I'd been seeing like a bunch of these posts of people saying, Firefox is slow. How can I make it faster? Why is it so sluggish? It should be faster. How come it's gotten slower and slower and slower? And I wanted to help. So what I've asked people to do, I started this thread on in the Firefox subreddit, and there's a link here to the thread, where there's this big wall of text, this massive wall of text where I talk about all what my plan is, and basically I'll wrap it up here for you. I'll TLDR it for you. I want people who are experiencing slowness in their browser to take a performance profile, which you may have heard me talk about before, but if not, I'll explain what I'm talking about in a second. A performance profile, and then post it in that thread, post it in that thread of comments that go with each post, and then I will analyze them live during this episode of The Joy of Coding, and if that catches on, maybe I'll do it again, and maybe by doing this and by people watching it, people within that community, and it doesn't even have to be just the Reddit community, it can be anyone watching these videos, can learn how to analyze performance profiles and kind of diagnose where slow things are and maybe help file better bugs or help themselves or help their friends or help strangers out on the internet make things faster. So that's the goal. And that's what I'm doing today. So I want to spend about 10 minutes max talking about what profiling is and then touring you through the profiling tool we're mostly going to be using today. I'm going to set a timer. I don't want to spend too long doing this. I want to actually get into the analysis, but I don't want to do it unless people know what's happening. So that's why I'm going to do some explaining. So I've got a timer set up. I'm going to say go, and let's get started.
Here we go!
So, what is profiling? Whenever you have a program doing something on a computer, it's executing instructions. And for a program that's as complicated as Firefox, it can be doing any number of things at any given time. You know, there are lots of things that are asynchronous, meaning that it will request something from a network, and while we're waiting for a response, we'll do some other stuff, and then network traffic will come in, and like we'll respond to that network traffic, and we'll fire a thing off that's going to occur in a couple of milliseconds, and so it gets pretty complicated. And knowing where the bottlenecks in this sort of stream of activity from your browser is great for figuring out what's making it slow. And for simple programs, it's usually pretty simple to find out where the slow part is. I mean, you just, for really, really small programs, like a little maybe toy program, you do a thing and it's really slow. Well, it's got to be in this little chunk. Well, in Firefox, it's so humongous that it's really difficult to kind of guess usually where the problems are, and that's where a performance profile comes in. A performance profile allows us, or gives us, a tool for figuring out where the bottlenecks might be. So what is it? So the way I like to think of it is it's a snapshot. If your program, the way I model it in my head is, pretend the program is like a chef in a kitchen, or a cook in a kitchen doing some stuff, and the user is, this is a very interesting restaurant where the user is able to like step into the kitchen and talk to the cook and say, I'd like a sandwich, and it doesn't cost anything. The cook will make a sandwich, and the cook can only make one thing at a time, and it usually does it pretty quickly. You want a sandwich? No problem. Boom, 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 boom. Here's your sandwich. Usually can get it done within 10 milliseconds or so. Sometimes things take longer than 10 milliseconds. Sometimes things need to be spread out, where the chef or the cook, I should probably settle on one. When the cook will put something in the microwave to bake, or put something in the oven. Meanwhile, they can ask the person, is there anything else you wanted? Because I can get that for you. Would you like me to top up your coffee? That sort of thing. So it's possible for the cook to free themselves up, even though other things are occurring in the background. And a profile is like, what would happen if, let's say I ordered a sub sandwich. I ordered a turkey club sandwich, and it's taking a long time. I'm not actually, I as the person who ordered the sandwich, I can't see into the kitchen. I can just talk through a little, like maybe peephole, but I can't see what the cook is doing, but it's taking a long time. They are not getting back to me, and I'm ringing the bell saying I want a salad and I need more water, and how do we figure out what the cook is doing? And I can't talk to the cook and ask, what are you doing in there, really? Well, I could, but the mechanism, this is an extended metaphor. I'm going off the rails here. How much time do I have left? Not too much, 6 minutes. Imagine there's a camera in the kitchen that's taking a picture every 10 seconds. Every 10 seconds, it takes a snapshot so that we can, and then I'm given an album at the end. Like there's this, I ask for, let's say I tell the camera, okay, start taking pictures. Now I ask the cook, make me a turkey club sandwich, and then snapshots are being taken every 10 seconds, and finally the turkey club sandwich comes back. And I also take the stack of snapshots and I start looking through them, like, what was the cook doing? That is a performance profile. It's a snapshot. It's like, or this is a particular type of performance profile called a sampling profile, where sampling is like those snapshots, where every couple of milliseconds, in this case 10 milliseconds from my example, or 10 seconds, I put it in like the kitchen world, but every little interval of time, we take a snapshot. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? And then from that, we can hopefully piece together what's going on. And I think one question that I often hear people ask is, well, why don't we just instead of using a camera, why don't we take a video recording, and so that we can, see exactly what the cook is doing at all times. And you could, although usually that's pretty heavy weight. One of the things about taking these snapshots of the cook is that the cook has to look at the camera and say cheese, and that will distract the cook. And so every 10 seconds is okay. They're chopping vegetables, say cheese, and then keep going. But if you do it like every second or every half second, you're going to distract the cook and it's going to slow them down. You're actually going to affect their ability to do their job because you're profiling. This is I think there's like some kind of quantum mechanics principle here where when you try and measure a thing, you actually affect the thing that you're measuring. And that can happen when you're profiling like this. So something like 10 milliseconds or 1 millisecond, if you really need to, but 10 milliseconds is usually a good amount of sampling time to sort of get a snapshot without affecting what's going on too much. So that is what a profile is. It's snapshots over time. And let's take a look at some. I should point out that the profiles we're about to look at, I've never looked at before. I have not done any real preparation beyond, making sure that there are profiles there. I haven't even gone to see if they're going to be any use at all. Maybe they're garbage. Maybe they haven't been collected properly, or maybe who knows? It could be any number of things. But we're going to take a look right now, and I'll try and explain what I'm seeing when I see it. And I'll try and use this cook metaphor and the profile tool kind of together to explain what I'm seeing. Okay. So someone had linked to a profile from another thread, and the profile was downloaded here. So I'm going to download the profile, and I'll save it in my projects directory. And then I'm going to open up our profile viewing tool, which is at cleopatra.io. That's where that is. And I'm going to drag the profile in, and we're going to view it. Okay. So what are we looking at here? I'm going to bump up the font a little so you can see what's happening. Okay, there are lots of pieces here. Let's ignore this chunk. We're going to ignore this chunk here. We're going to look at this first. This is the thing I usually look at first. What this is a representation of what's going on over time. So time progresses from left to right here. So there's a snapshot of how I think this measure is of how many milliseconds from I don't even know, but as we progress through time, we're taking these snapshots, and each one of these little lines is a snapshot. And as we move forward through time, we go to the right. And when we profile using what's called a circular buffer, which is kind of like a black box in an airplane, where once you reach the end of the tape, we start recording over the beginning again. So hopefully the person here did not happen to they didn't record over the useful bits, but it doesn't look like they did because I'm seeing some red here, and I'll explain what that means in a second. There are a couple of dimensions. So there's the left to right, which is time, and then there's the vertical dimension. And initially, back when I started working with Cleopatra, I thought the spikes meant a bad thing, but they don't necessarily. The height of a vertical spike represents how deep in the call stack we are for a particular snapshot. If you don't know what a call stack is, that's when something calls a function, which calls a function, which calls a function, which calls a function, which calls a function, what you've created is a call stack that's waiting to return back to the original function. And so there are some pretty deep call stacks in here where this is called this, is called this, is called this, is called this, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that's what those spikes represent. That's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just a representation of some information that we have. We have some deep call stacks in here. Now the red is more interesting. So hopefully you can see this. Hopefully the colors match your ability to. I don't know if there's a color blindness that prevents you from seeing this transition to red, but if there is, trust me, there is a transition to red over time in a couple of these places. And what that means is, black means we've recently returned to the event loop, and what that means is we've made it. The cook has gone back to the person ordering food and said, "Is there anything else I can help you with?" As we transition more and more red, like here's this gradient from going from black to red. What that means is the person at the front who's ordering food has been waiting for a while, and the cook has not come back to ask if there's anything else they'd like. We haven't gone back to the event loop in technical parlance. And that's particularly bad. What that usually means is we're stuttering. We're not painting. We're doing something busy, and we haven't been able to be responsive and like do what we've got here is classic stuttering, where the person is waiting around an unacceptable amount of time, waiting for the cook to come back to them. And I don't have a whole lot of information here on what we're looking at. Let's take a look. There was this was filed, this profile by someone else, details inside here. So let's take a look inside the bug here. This is a WebCompat bug. Someone went to this URL, this Introduction to Java Code Academy thing in Firefox 49 on Linux. They navigate to it. Once the site loads, try to adjust the mini window's positions by moving it left to right using the dividers that separate them. Okay, so let's try and do that. Let's just see what this means. I'm going to try and get rid of this sign up thing because I don't want to have to sign up. So we have this like overlay. I'm going to delete it. Nope, didn't need that. I want to like, is it even possible for me to delete these things? You know what? I suspect not. Delete. Let's try and delete as much of because what I really want to do is just try and manipulate some of the nodes in here. But if it's just like fakery, it's a React root. Oh, maybe this will work. Let's delete this and delete that. And we have this like overlay that's in the way. We have this thing in the way. What are you? I need to element, flex direction. Is there anything in here with a Z index that's very high? I need to like get down to here. How if I get rid of that class? No. Get rid of that? No. Can't get rid of the body. I just need to like, oh, sorry, this is not what I intended to do today. I just wanted to like, this is a perfect example of things not going according to plan. I just want to like try and reproduce this without having to create an account. Come on. Shoot. Well, I couldn't figure out. Oh, wait, there we go. This is what we're talking about. That's what we wanted to do. Okay, so we're resizing boxes. Try to adjust the mini window positions by moving it left to right using the dividers that separate them. Okay, I'm doing that. And that works okay for me, but it wasn't working okay for this user, Bull500. They expected smooth movement while adjusting the mini window sizes. They're getting lots of jank. And so let's take a look at the profile now. So they're running in a single process mode. I can tell because there's only the Gecko main. This represents the main thread of the main process. And if there were multiple, if multi-process was enabled, there'd be like other threads that were occurring at the same time, or other like more of these stacked one on top of the other to represent what the content process was doing, for example. So what am I looking at here? This is the tree view. So we take these stacks that we've, like every time we take a snapshot, we have a stack, a call stack from wherever the program, like whatever it's doing, whatever its execution frame is, we take that snapshot. And then in this down here, this sort of like tree view thing, we put the common stacks together. And so I'm trying to figure out how best to explain how this is represented. It's like additive. If we see something called startup XRE main, that's the name of the function, and it calls timer fire, well then we increment this and like we say how much of the running time it represents. And in this case, it represents 42.9% of the running time is this timer thing. And then up here, XRE main is doing 100% of the running time, and that's fine because like that's the main method. That's our main entry point into the program, Firefox. And 24% of the time is being spent doing this refresh driver tick. 13.5 is doing this, 11.5 is doing this, etc., etc., etc. So this is the long tail down here. This is stuff we don't care about. What we care about is this stuff up here, up at the top, because this combined is taking about 66% of the time of this snapshot. And if we try and drill into it, what's timer doing? Well, 40% of the time, timer is running this JavaScript. 8.8% of the time, it's doing some cycle collection stuff or garbage collection. So that's not interesting. But up here, we're running some script periodically. And 33% of the time, it's doing this R, this sort of obfuscated. This is code from Codecademy. There's this obfuscated code. And what's it doing? We like follow the call stack all the way down. Aha! It's doing a reflow. So there are all these reflows occurring. And that's not super surprising because whenever you change the dimensions, we do have to reflow the text. Like we do have to do a reflow when we change the size, so that's not so surprising that a reflow is occurring. But it's pretty surprising that the reflow performance is so bad. Now here's another thing we can do. I can do what's called inverting the call stack. Now we're looking at this section over here. I'm going to invert the call stack. And what that does is it puts all of the things that are at the end, like the execute, where before we were ordered so that the things that are at the top of the execution stack are here, and we like sort of drill down to whatever the program was doing at a particular time. Now we invert it so that we're looking at all of the individual things that the program was doing, like all the individual functions, and then we can like unfold back to what their callers could have been. So it's a slightly different view. It's inverted. But what we can see here is that reflow is taking the majority of the time. We're doing this like really gross reflowing. Some of this is really slow. And if you don't know what reflow is, that's whenever we recalculate the layout of things because like the size or a style has changed. So that's bad reflow performance. Okay, so I think what we're going to do here is we're going to file a bug. This is something that I think we can put under layout. Reflow performance is something that layout people care about. So we're going to file a new bug. Or it sounds like there might already be a Bugzilla bug, but let me see. I don't see a link to a Bugzilla bug. So we're going to file a new bug for Bull 500, and we are going to move on. File a bug. Layout. So layout, there's like all these things under layout. Layout, view, rendering, text, tables, miss. I'm going to put it under core layout, just the general one. It'll get triaged by the right people, hopefully. And, you know, Bugzilla thinks about it for triage, reduction, reassignment. So this is where stuff that hasn't been triaged yet goes. Bad performance, bad reflow, performance in Codecademy, on Codecademy page when resizing sections. So I guess that's an okay way of describing it. So a web compat bug was filed here, and a performance profile was gathered here. So here's the they linked. So here's the thing: they linked to the performance profile here, and they posted it publicly. So I guess they probably wouldn't mind. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna assume that they're okay with me uploading it again publicly. So I click that share button, and that uploads the profile, and then the URL has changed to something I can share. It looks like let's file here general, so str. I'm gonna copying the str from this pretty much. Navigate once. Once the site loads. Try to adjust the menu list, but mode left right is was originally filed here. And then the user is on Linux, running Linux. Now, do we know what Linux 686? So x86. So 32-bit Linux, and they're running Firefox 49 single process mode. Performance profile was gathered here. It looks like we're spending a large amount of time doing reflow. 5 seconds, about 5 seconds, total seconds from the profile can be attributed to reflow. And then, is there anything else in here that's useful? So build display list. I'm spending some time building a display list. Paint. That's not so bad though. I don't think that's too bad. I think it's mostly the reflows that are killing us here. Here's another chunk of reflow. Flush layout, reflow. Not sure if this is, it's possible that this page just needs to not cause so much reflow, but it's also, hence reflow, hence the web compat bug, but it's also possible. The code in the gutter is handle mouse move. I said I may on Linux can test how much slower it clearly lags significantly. The profile is showing the page causing a bunch of layout flushes, reflows during script execution. The best way to improve performance is to avoid these. This was 4 hours ago. Jeff already did that. Halvors. Who's Halvors? Oh, you know, it's possible that some of these people it works for Mozilla. Okay. Who's Carl Cow? Also Mozilla. Showing the page causing a bunch of layout flushes, reflows during script execution. Is to avoid these reflows. Hence the webcompat bug and Jerem Weasel's comment. It's also possible we could. Halvors is on the webcompat team. Cool. Well, they're doing a good job here identifying stuff. Bull 500 is the OP. Correct. Bull 500 reported the problem there from Reddit. Halvors was gathering the profile and did a great job giving us a profile. So that's awesome. So maybe I should say a profile. This problem was reproduced by Halvors on a Linux x86 machine running 49 in single process mode. It's also possible we could that, but I wonder, but I'm filing this here anyways in case there's anything we can do in Gecko to alleviate this kind of situation. Okay. Carl is also on the team. Yes. Carl and Halvors, both on the webcompat team. They are awesome. They're helping make the web better, and Mike Taylor is telling me that in the chat. Mike Taylor also quite awesome. Met him in person last week. I think I'd actually met him a couple times before that, but great person in general. And now we're going to file this and we're done. Actually, we're not exactly done. I want to link to this. I have to log in. Okay. Filed this Bugzilla bug just in case, but I concur that the most likely way of improving this is by having the site not cause so many reflows. Comment. Okay, so that's our first profile. Wabam, we're done. So I'm gonna check that one off. Strike through. Here's the next one. All right, so this one comes from so D Blom, who's also a Mozilla employee in this thread, said this one comes from guy, who's having trouble with Google Maps. So this was from another thread. Is Google Maps supposed to be slow in Firefox? And then they link to this profile that they've already uploaded to Cleopatra. And Jerem Weasel is kind of like beating me to the punch here. He's like, a good chunk of that profile time is being spent in DevTools. So, spoiler alert, that's probably what we're going to see here as well. I'm going to close this other profile. J.R. Weasel, always beating me to the punch. Okay, so let's zoom in. Let's invert that call stack. Let's skip right ahead and invert the call stack and see where we're spending time. Hello. We're doing a lot of like nursery collect, like cycle collection stuff. We're triggering a lot of cycle collection, I think, is what that means. Nursery. JS nursery is like where we do, or maybe it's garbage collection, not cycle collection. That's where we do like garbage collection stuff. So let's receive async message. We're running some JavaScript. Why does that keep blinking? So this person's on Windows, 64-bit Windows. They were sampling at 1 millisecond intervals. So that might actually like affect what we're seeing here. That's one thing to keep in mind, is because they were taking samples every millisecond, that might affect that's like the Heisenberg, the quantum mechanics thing I was talking about, where it might affect the measurement. But like there's some GCing, and then there's like, that's what I think is going on. It's mostly GC. I do see the DevTools stuff that, oh, that's interesting. We're also spending time here. Child debugger transport. That's probably what Jeff was seeing. Maybe the DevTools were causing us to garbage collect more. Reflow. Reflow's not taking that much time. So I've uninverted the stack frame. It looks like so there's this thing that's firing on a set timeout where we do some stuff with I'm guessing maybe we're creating enough garbage that the GC starts like flipping out a little bit. Can you get a fresh profile with only Google Maps running in the browser? That would actually be very useful. I agree with JR Weasel. I agree. That would probably be best. I wonder if the majority of that JS nursery stuff, JS nursery, is being kicked off because the debugger is open. Okay, so I don't think we can get much until we get a better profile here. I mean, maybe it was DevTools that was causing things to slow down for this user. Okay, so that's that one. Format, strike through. Sorry, my nose is super itchy. It's that time of year. I have seasonal allergies, and for some reason this year it's making my nose itch. So here's the last one that was posted to Reddit. That browse, oh, and Jeff once again beating me to the punch. You're killing me, Jeff. Well, let's take a look at the profile anyways. Ruining my day. Ruining my day, Jeff. One thing I'm noticing is that like this profile doesn't have the main process. It just has content. And normally whenever we take a profile, like I'm going to take one right now. Come on. Don't tell me you're broken. Oh. No. No. Stop. Maybe turn off some of these things. Do. Start. Go. I don't know why that's so not working. Anyways, there should be the Gecko main and content so I can see them going back and forth. Here it looks like the debugger's open again. Maybe this is the spinner? Because in the parent process, whenever I can see the parent process, there's usually like a marker. We have profile markers to indicate where actions are occurring. And if I saw those in here, I'd know when the start of the tab switch was requested. I can also filter here. There's some strings I know about, like doc shell something or other. What are we doing? Get original doc shell. That's not what I want. Like whenever a tab is switched, what happens is we receive like activate, receive activate. No, it's not in here. It's not in here. So what I mostly see is like there's this little chunk of JavaScript running here where not a whole lot's going on. Let's only show the jank. And by jank, I mean like whenever we haven't returned the event loop in time. So there's stuff that's responding to a fire, and a lot of that's like page JavaScript that's not like performing very efficiently. This one's causing a flush, a style flush. This one is here. Yeah, we're doing. Oh, I wonder if they're using a different profiling tool. Oh, okay. I know. I understand. I think I know why I'm seeing this profile only have content is because I suspect that it's being gathered using the DevTools performance tool, which is normally used to profile like web page performance. And we want something at a higher level. We want to profile the entire browser, not just one web page. Was this profiled using the DevTools performance tab? If so, can you try gathering a profile using the Gecko Profiler add-on? That way we can all also get samples from the parent process. So until then, again, there's not a whole lot we can do there. I think we were just looking at like a single, it's possible we were looking at a single page's worth of samples. So I'm going to call that one done. Format, strike through. And then last but not least, a fellow, a coworker or someone I used to work with, hold on a second, someone is sending me a message. And my nose is bothering me, and my timer is going off, so I'm going to turn that off. I guess it didn't really work because I didn't notice. I had someone I used to work with sent me a profile for Firefox being slow, and the situation, if you remember from last week, his name was Mike H. He sent me messages over Twitter. I won't even show you the messages, but he was like, "Things are slow. I've got Firefox open in a virtual machine. No, I've got Firefox open and I've got VirtualBox open. And whenever VirtualBox is open, watching videos in Firefox is taking forever or something." Let me find out what he actually said. I actually think in my last Joy of Coding I connected to him. Mike H. Here we go. Okay, what he said was, anyone at Moz seeing weird interactions between Firefox and VM Player. So not VirtualBox. It was VM Player from VMware. Under Ubuntu, seeing serious FFX, so Firefox UI jank grayouts. So he gathered a profile on Linux using a tool called Zoom, which I downloaded, and I loaded up his profile. I haven't actually looked at it yet, but this is the tool. I suspect that Zoom, I've never used Zoom before. I have no idea what it's like. I wish I knew how to actually zoom in Zoom so you could see it better. I don't think I can actually do that. Maybe, is there preferences? Can I bump up the font? Profile display. General. Come on. Show me. I want to increase the font size. Code browser. Code display. All right, well, let's try and bumping that up to 24. What does that look like? Nothing. How about this one? Instruction help. Instead of 24, let's do 14. Better? Nope. And this one, 14. Better? Nope. And I think that's the only things I can set font sizes on. Code browser, code analysis, general profile display. I really want to make the font bigger for you people so you can read it. Fonts, here we go. Is that it? Is that going to do it? Gah. Nothing. Syntax coloring. Shoot, I'm sorry folks. I wish I could make it bigger. I can't. So what we've got here is this list of, I guess, processes that were running at the time. He profiled everything, so it profiled all processes running, including VMware, which included the player. He's got GNOME, Compiz, VLC was playing, but but here's Firefox, and the majority of what Firefox was doing was page faulting. It looks like. Do page fault. Page fault. Do huge PMD anonymous page. Allocating its page faulting. Compacting. Migrate pages. Try to unmap. I don't even think this is a Firefox issue. It's just like any program of sufficient size. Because this is like, these are Like that's operating. These aren't even calls from within Firefox. It's just what it's doing. It's spending most of its time page faulting. What's a page fault? I think I know, but let's double check. Page fault. This is a type of interrupt raised by computer hardware when a running program accesses a memory page that's been mapped to virtual memory space but is not actually loaded into the main memory. Right. So Firefox is attempting to get into memory that's been put on the disk, and so we're trying to like do some swapping, memory swapping. So I think that's what's going on here is we're page faulting really, really hard. And that's probably because Firefox has consumed so much memory that a bunch of its like working memory has been put onto disk. Because running VirtualBox or VMware player at the same time probably put it in virtual memory. So okay, let's respond to Mike H. Ah, oh, geez, my nose. Okay. Vast majority of time is being spent page faulting. Firefox, working memory likely paged out. Likely being paged out aggressively by VM player. Let's see here. VM player page fault. Excessive page faults generated by Windows. No. I'm simply. What am I reading here? Virtual machine powers off automatically. I try to get it, it won't let me. I try to. My VMware disk image has been corrupted. No, I think that's different. VM player excessive page fault. Ubuntu. Firefox. Well, it's also possible when this occurs, how much memory does Firefox report it is using? Do you have an about memory report? Okay, so here's my theory. My theory is that Firefox has consumed like a bunch of memory. VM player starts consuming a bunch of memory. VM player aggressively consumes memory, and it causes the operating system, because there's a limited amount of working memory, it throws a lot of the stuff that Firefox has allocated onto the disk into the sort of like virtual memory. Then when Firefox tries to access that stuff, it ends up like touching the disk a lot, which is slow. That's my theory. All right. And that does it for all those profiles. Whoop, 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 I don't know if that was useful. I don't know if that was interesting. Let me know. So that was my first crack at this make Firefox faster, and some of it may have been useful. We filed a bug over here. We asked for further information from some of these other users, but maybe now you've got a sense of how to use Cleopatra to kind of do this kind of analysis yourself. And if you don't, if you're still kind of in the dark about it, you can always send me questions and I can try and answer them. You can try responding in the. I've got a thread on Reddit, the subreddit for this show. Here, here. I'll put a link to that thread here in BAM. questions, and I'll unstrike through that. But there's a link. You could put some questions in there, and I can try and answer them. And let me know if this is worth trying again, because I don't know if it is. Maybe that was useful, maybe it wasn't. It wasn't like a bunch of slam dunks in a row, but it wasn't a total loss. At least the profiles weren't total garbage. Some of them allowed us to like ask for more information. Let me know either in this thread, or if you don't want to do that, you can always in the rate this episode link down here. You can send me messages. I'm so sorry about my nose. I'm like rubbing it like crazy. My nose is freaking out. I feel like, you know what? I'm gonna go blow my nose. I'm gonna find some Kleenex. I don't know what it is about this room, but I'll be right back. Perfect timing. Nose is blown. Gross. So now what are we gonna do? We're done the profiling stuff. Congratulations, done. What do we want to do now? So over the past couple of weeks, we've been working on a different bug. I'm gonna go back to bug fixing now. We've been working on this like make the initial browser be non-remote. I've been working on it for like forever and ever and ever, and lots of stuff has been getting in the way. But thanks. Mike Taylor said that was a perfect sound effect for nose blowing break.
Mamma mia!
You betcha. That's why I put it in there. So what bug am I talking about? I'm talking about making the initial browser remote. There should be a link in the agenda to it. Yes, right here. It's also like part of it is this refactoring window watcher thing. It's all kind of glommed together. I've broken it up into a bunch of different bugs. I'm not sure if that was the wisest choice, but I did. And a lot of the work is happening in here. I might end up just putting it all under one bug again because it's all kind of intertwined. But I feel like over the past couple of days, I've made some pretty big strides in making the patches work. And I've got something baking on try. I kicked it off maybe an hour or so before the stream, and it's looking okay, you know? Like, I had a lot more orange before. I had like this much orange, and now there's this much orange, so it's slightly better. And some of these might just be intermittents. Some of them might not. Oh, are you kidding me? I have a syntax error. Oh, no. No wonder. Oh, no. Well, that's good, I guess. Oh, it means the test didn't have a chance to run properly. Shoot. I screwed up. I screwed the pooch on this one. So I'm gonna push this again to try. Oh wait, no. Go back to where we were. 352679. This was fine where we were. But I had screwed up before I pushed to try. I should have tested it. Mike Conley, you've done it again. Apparently, I'm missing a semicolon somewhere on line 44. Let's bump up the font. Line 44. Gah! Not a semicolon. I'm missing a full-blown like parentheses. How did that happen? I tested this before. How did that not completely explode before? All right, well, let's build it and run it locally and then push it to try. What a life. I guess I'll keep this going. But here's what I'm going to do. Let's take a look at the other failures, if there are any other failures. So here's one. There's this red here. This might be an intermittent, where something in the NP API, so a plugin crash, has occurred. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to re-trigger that one, maybe twice. Over here, under browser compartments, apparently a sanity check. Parent process 0, total user time component is now impossible larger. That sounds like this intermittent. That sounds like this intermittent, so I'm going to mark that for this intermittent, so that's fine. And then over here, you probably can't really see what I'm doing. I'm going to bring the bottom of my browser up and bump up the font. This is my silly missing syntax thing, my missing semicolon. Actually, it was missing parentheses. That was silly. We're going to ignore that. Over here, number 10, test sub resources prompts, checking buttons, you got false, expect true. So that's this orange. I'm going to save that. Over here, that timeout is also an orange. Save it. Over here, notification 4. 1 notification displayed, got 0 expected 1. Yep, that's this one. So hey, we've got a bunch of starred orange here. That's good. Here's my semicolon again thing. 7340676. Uncaught exception. Load of such and such denied. Another orange. 73476. Test timed out. Yep. 076. Found a previous tab. Yep. And then there's the semicolon thing again. Okay. Now I gotta make sure I'm getting all of them. Yeah. Over here, that's my silly mistake. Over here, browser, net, prefs, reload. Promise chain failed to handle rejection. That's this. Test timed out. That's the same thing. And then browser, net, prefs, reload. Found a tab. That's all the same bug. It's the same test. When it fails at one point, it like cascading fails all around. Abort. There's some kind of like explosion peer connection wrapper. So application timed out. That's interesting. This one I'm not sure I caused. I don't think I did. I'm going to do some retriggers. Over here, click to play, test timed out, browser click to play. I have a feeling that that's also an intermittent. I'm just going to do some retriggers to be sure. My mistake again. Clipboard's been broken for a while on our AWS stuff. Don't worry about it. Spot, AWS spot instance, AWS spot instance, DT5. I think that's also an intermittent. Clipboard. Here's my mistake. So this is looking pretty good. It's looking like most of the problems are either intermittents or just that one silly error. And that's really, really good. That means we're very close. And so what I'm going to do now, that this build, that was a nice fast build. You know why that's a fast build? I realized, man, for the longest time, I thought I had Ccache turned on. Turns out I didn't. Ccache, it's the best. I now have a Ccache of like 6.2 gigabytes, or yeah, that's how much stuff is cached. And like my build is down to, like I did a pretty big change between branches, and that build took less than 2 minutes. So if you're building Firefox and you don't know what Ccache is, and you're on Linux or OS X, you might want to check out these instructions for Ccache for using it. It's great. Real faster my builds. So good times. Oh, there's some stats down there. Second build, populate cache. Yeah, look at these. Look at these. 12 times faster. At least almost 1.45 times faster. 3.19 times faster. And this was back in 2011, so like it's gotten way better. So yeah, Ccache. Da bomb. So I'm going to assume for a second that actually our patches do everything right, except for the one mistake. I'm going to run that test right now, actually. What was it? Silly thing. Right here. We're going to run this. And I hope my slurping noise isn't annoying you. Oh, gross. I think I just grossed myself out. Yes, that runs properly. Okay, let's push it to try again. Same biz. Wait, do I have to commit? Yes. What a silly mistake. That kills me. What a waste of time. But assuming that this works out, try. Then the next job is to take the stack of patches that I've created and make them into reviewable patches, because right now they're kind of sloppy and all over the place. And I've actually done some of that already. I've taken some of the patches out, split them out into their own bugs, and landed some of them already. One of them is on inbound right now. Oh, actually, while I'm thinking about it, I did another try build earlier, and that is failing here. I don't know if these are legit failures or not. I'll follow up on this. Abort. Process crash. Process crash. Why did you crash? For unrelated reasons. Okay. I think this patch is probably fine. You can probably land as is. These intermints are killing me. Okay, I'm gonna land this other thing that I worked on today. And I guess the sheriffs can back it out if it's really bad. Alright. Land. Land ho. Done. Oh, my nose. I'm really complaining about that a lot, I know. And here's the try push I just put up with the fix for my parentheses mistake. Oh. Okay, so here's the big stack of patches. If you look at HG log, some of these commit messages are really dumb, like fix another flaky test, possible dumb test fix for URL bar thing, probable fix for such and such, bug question mark, add a test. Like, there's a bunch of garbage in here that needs to sort of be cleaned up. Fix a test, fix a test. And I wonder, we might be able to, and this is like, I think this is, I depend on that right now. Is this landed? No. What? You got the wrong bug number, dude. Assignee. I gotta find. Yeah, this is the one. So it's check-in needed, this thing that I rely on, and hopefully it'll land soon. But in the meantime, I pulled it into my own tree. So there's that thing I rely on. Remove unused URL arg and make outer window available on tab parent. These two I might be able to extract out. and stop sending the window name, I might be able to extract these things out. And that might be good. They can be landed on their own, and they don't have to all be reviewed and landed at the same time. And then all these test fixes will probably need to go in at the same time. So let's take a look at these patches. Remove unused URL arg. So create Chrome window 2. The URL for which this window is intended, it can be null or zero length. The implementation of this interface may use the URL to help determine what sort of window to open or whether to cancel window creation. It will not load the URL. And I was just removing it because it didn't seem to be used. Create Chrome window 2. Yeah, because in NS App Startup, no one uses it. Sorry, NS App Startup is what I meant to look at. Yeah, create Chrome window 2. The URL is never used. Embedders may have used it in the past, but like, it's not even a real thing that we care about anymore. File a bug, core, general. Wait for thing to load. Suffer with nose. The next thing we're doing is we are going to remove the unused URL argument from create Chrome window 2. I believe NS App Startup, which implements, I think it's App Startup, implements create window creator. Is that what the interface is? Create Chrome window 2, yeah. Creator 2. Path. NS App Startup, yeah. Which implements NSI window creator 2. Doesn't do anything with the URL argument. I expect this was probably used by embedders folks who were embedding Gecko way back in the day. But for now isn't being used. I figure we can just remove it. I figure we can safely remove it. Okay, and so I can split this out. I can rebase this basically onto central. Fdest central, rebase it there, and then we'll push it up for review. Just checking some things. Okay. So I've got this new patch here to remove the unused URL arg. I change the bug number in it. This isn't used at all internally and was probably used by people embedding Gecko back when we were an embeddable, back when the Gecko was more embeddable. For now, it's just noise. I figure we can remove it. For our review, you know what, I should actually choose someone to review that. I don't want to overload Smaug, who normally reviews my Windows stuff, and I don't want, like, I'm going to have him review a good chunk of my Windows stuff, so I don't want to, like, exhaust him. So I'm going to ask Blake to review it. See if he feels up to the challenge. Do do do. Do do do. So someone just pointed out, Bull500 from Reddit just pointed out that there's a profile for the Outlook issue. Apparently there's an issue with Outlook web, like website for Outlook email. And what's the fourth argument? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, no 4. And there's a profile in there that we could take a look at. So maybe we can go back to our Make Firefox Faster project in just a second. Once I publish this, whoa-bam, published. Let's get that chunk into the tree. I should also probably mark this blocking make initial. Blocks that. Whoops, throw away my changes. I just I mid-aired myself. And that. So Bull500 from Reddit said that there is a profile in the Outlook link. So let's take a look at these. Profile, 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 Clio, profile. Here we go. Feels a little janky, but not too bad. Let's pull that in, take a look. Halvors from the WebCompat team, working again with Bull500. There's Mike Taylor, looking like a champ. Do we have anyone else in here that I know? No. Oh shoot, no, don't view it. Don't view the JSON. Download it. Download the JSON. Okay, and we'll take a look at the profile now. So this is for that Outlook thing. Whoa, what are we doing here? Big Red. What's up, Big Red? Performance recorder. So I think this person, not Bull500. In this case, it's Halvors is using the, not the Gecko profiler, but like the, but the DevTools profiler to get this, and that's throwing things off for me. Because like a lot of it seems to be related to the DevTools itself. And what about this though? Akamai. Aha! I recognize that. That's a sync IPC message. And then jQuery thing. Do this jQuery thing. Some slow JavaScript. Let's invert the call stack again. What is this? So no. Save current stacks, frame rate. Okay, so there's a lot of noise in this profile due to the performance profiler from DevTools, which is not great. Although I do see this sync message, or this IPC message, receive a mouse button event, and we do this big thing. And we do some GCing. And what about over here? That's DevTools again. It's DevTools. DevTools. Screen. I wonder if this is it. I wonder if it's the screen, the sync, if it's these IPC messages. So, Outlook, what's the CBug description? There's a bunch of smooth animation. A couple of animations often appear clunky. Hey, Halvers, is it possible to get another profile but using the Gecko profiler add-on instead of the DevTools profiler? One thing I'm noticing right off the bat, or maybe should I be saying that in this bug? Identify exchange, see, and then hidden, empty. One thing I'm noticing right off, the only thing, a lot of the DevTools instrumentation is showing up in the profile and is adding a bit of noise. I imagine that's often filtered out when profiling an individual page, but when viewing it in Cleopatra, it distracts. One thing I have noticed looking at this profile is that there are some sync IPC messages being sent from content to the parent to query the dimensions of the screen that it's on, making those calls non-blocking. These sync messages, if they occur during an animation, would certainly cause a stutter. I'm seeing, let's see, how long is that? About 172 milliseconds. Okay, I'm seeing an instance of 172 milliseconds of waiting for a response to that IPC message, or waiting for that sync IPC message to complete, for example. Making those screen dimension queries non-synchronous, IPC queries non-synchronous, is being tracked in bug. Screen IPC. What is it? Sync IPC. I've got like a bug for it. IPC. Sync. Yeah. I think P Screen Manager should not use sync messages. Comment. Wait, this bug was closed? When was this bug closed? Who closed this? Where does the close happen? Feel free to close here and link to the Bugzilla bug. Okay, so maybe the conversation should happen in Bugzilla. Okay, so that's what I'll do. Can you subscribe to Issues on Bugzilla? You sure can. If you create a Bugzilla account, you can CC yourself under the people section. There's a CC list that you can add yourself to. Like here. Pretty sure anyone can CC themselves. Right here. CC yourself to a bug. So here's the profile that Halvor's originally posted. I'm gonna share that. Whoops. Here's the profile that Halvor's originally gathered. Is it possible to get another profile? A lot of pro devs joke about one is tracking blah blah blah. Done. Okay, so that might address the Outlook bug. That won't annoy other people already subscribed. It happens all of the time. Don't worry about it. Some people, if it annoys them, it's possible to both disable CC notification emails and or filter them. So, done. Done, Bull 500. And there's some conversation going on inside some of the other webcompat bugs. See, I guess I'll link to boop, boop, boop. Commented here. Okay, what were we doing? I posted this thing for review. That's waiting. In the meantime, is there other stuff I can extract out to post for review? Make parent outer window available on tab parent. I think I can do that one too. Dest Central. MIB XRV FHQ says cheers. And to you. So say I. It's pretty nerdy. So let's take a look at this. What's this patch? To do documentation. Ha. So I'll need to like add that documentation now. Get parent window outer. So let's update that documentation now. Get parent window outer. Will return null point if there's no outer window available for the owner element for the window. No outer window available for the element for the document hosting the owner element of this tab parent. Also will return null pointer if that outer window is in the process of closing. I wonder if that should go in the header as opposed to the people tend to put the documentation. Oh boy, it's all kind of willy-nilly. And here, sometimes it's documented, sometimes not. All right, well. All right, let's post that. We're gonna file a new bug. Core general I'm getting flagged on a bunch of stuff. This keeps escalating and escalating. I want people are probably really trying to get my attention for stuff. I've turned off like my email and stuff. Script in Udo. Blah de blah. People are requesting review for things. People are commenting, and oh my goodness. All right. Add accessor. I add utility method to tab parent to get at hosting. To get at outer window hosting the frame element. Just a convenience method. I thought we might want to hang off of tab parent. I'm using it in my stack of patches for bug. What was it? Make initial. Blocks that, and this I do think, maybe I'll have Blake, I'll have Blake review this too if he has the time. I don't want to exhaust my smog cycles. And with that, I might call it a day. This was a very sort of nose itchy, but I feel productive day. Take allergy pills when you need them. Don't be a hero.
Okie dokie.
Or find out. I need to find out what in this room is affecting me, because I'm fine over at my desk. I don't know why. I don't know why this room is messing me up. There's no flowers in here. I don't see any animals. So let's take a look at the patch real quick. Get around. Get parent window outer. All right. Oh, no. Wrong bug number. Wrong bug number. I'm supposed to be using the right bug number. This one. Hello? Text editor? What's happened? Whoa! What? Quit. I don't know what that was. I have a feeling I confused Vim. Probably hit some kind of special key combo that put it into like nutso mode. And pushing that up for review. Root doot doo doot doo doot doo. No. I want to analyze it first, make sure it looks good before Blake sees it. Yeah, that's what I wanted to put in there. Alright, publish it. And we're done. We are done, folks. I think I'm going to call that a day. Whew! Thank you so much for watching The Joy of Coding, episode 60. And I want to point out, thank you so much for the people in the Firefox subreddit, the generous people who did the profiling. I hope this was useful for you. I'm hoping to expand it maybe outside of Reddit. Maybe if this is useful, let me know what you thought. That's what I need. I need to know whether or not this was interesting, was useful. Did people learn how to read and interpret profiles? Do they are they starting to see how it all works? Do they have questions? Let me know if I should be doing more of this. Because if not, I'll can it. But like if this is useful, I'll do more of it. Maybe every couple of weeks. Which reminds me, I'm going on break. So next week I'm traveling. I'll be in overseas, and I don't think I'll be able to stream. And then the week after that, I'm on vacation. So the next 2 episodes are going to be like mystery missing episodes, where we still increment the number, but we don't actually have episodes. So I'm sorry to say episodes 61 and 62 will not exist for the time being. But I will see you for episode 63 the week after. And who knows, maybe we'll be doing more of this profiling stuff. Maybe some of this Windows stuff will have landed. You never know what's going to happen on the Joy of Coding. You never know. You never know. So I'm going to cap it there. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have yourselves a great couple of weeks. I'll see you soon. Take care. And thank you again so much for watching. And if you're a Mozilla community member out there and you're interested in setting up a show, come talk to myself or Richard in the #Live Hacking IRC channel. We'd love to hear from you. We'll tell you how to set up a show here on Air Mozilla, because we want to see more people doing stuff in the Mozilla community out in the open on these live streams, so we can see what's going on. It doesn't have to be coding. It can be QA. It can be so like testing, writing tests, doing documentation, triage, design, any number of things. I think it'd be fascinating. So yeah, come talk to myself, M. Conley, or Richard in IRC, and we'll hook you up. And don't forget to rate this episode. The link's in the agenda. It's also in the additional links section below. Let me know what you thought. All right, I'm seriously going to stop it here. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.
The joy of coding.
See ya.